So, come on, go back to the champ select. Blah, 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 blah. If I was awesome, I would have had this all prepared in advance, but it's alright because we are not going to have to wait for too long. Okay, wow, it took him like a full minute to lock in. Anyway, he does end up locking in the Vlad. So if you look at both of these team compositions, immediately you'll notice C9 has really strong lanes, and like pre-6 C9 is incredibly strong. But Curse, once they do hit this level 6, they have Annie, they have Wukong, they have Vladimir. They're going to be absolutely huge. And of course this Annie Caitlyn lane is really strong, so you could argue that it's stronger than Draven and Thresh, but C9 play the lane phase really well on bottom and actually manage to gain an advantage in the bottom, and we'll go over that in a minute. But so basically C9 are in this position. They know exactly what to do. They're so much stronger than Curse before level 6. So as long as they gain enough of an advantage and gain control of the game before Curse hits level 6, then they're going to be in a really strong place where even if Curse does try to force fights, it won't quite work out for them, and C9 will be able to control the pace of the game. So let's actually get into the game. And the first thing I want to talk about is pretty early on in the game, because it has to do with the lane phase. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. Alright. So in this situation, you know, you have Cop and Zekan. Theoretically, you know, they have this range advantage. They're really strong, especially at level 1. They should be able to get an advantage in the bottom lane, but I love what C9 do, and it's a pretty standard way to play. But this Draven pick, if you actually watch, I don't know what happened like during the lane phase, but I would assume that Curse got to lane just a little bit late. And with these spinning axes, Sneaky, and they actually talk about it in the game, but he's able to push so quickly, whereas normally, you know, Caitlyn and Annie would want to push and poke you down and really force you to play defensively. And so, you know, in this lane where you would think Cop and Zekan have an advantage, Sneaky and Lemonation are like, yeah, okay, we know that we're strong right now. So once they get this shove, they're going to hit level 2 first because they've killed more minions than Curse's bottom lane. So C9's bottom lane, as far as all-in potential from level 2 to level 6, from level 2 through level 5 is really, really strong. And what we're actually going to see is they're able to play this lane aggressively, whereas normally you wouldn't be able to play aggressively against Caitlyn and Annie because they're just shoving you in and poking you down. But C9 got the shove on. They have the level advantage here, and Curse just don't want to deal with the Draven Thresh all in. It's so scary. So this lane that C9 really should have fallen behind in, if it had played out just a little bit differently, they use their advantages and they pull ahead. So Curse actually has a lot of trouble in that bottom lane. So let's fast forward a few minutes. The next timing window, really, that we see come into play is in this top lane. So, is this the level 6? Okay, yeah, this is the level 6. So, solo laners, this is actually really important information just to know so that you can, for generally being a strong player in League of Legends, is solo laners will hit level 6 before anyone else, before the junglers. So I was talking about how Curse have this level 6 advantage on C9 where they can group up and use Vladimir and Wukong. and Annie to just start a team fight and kind of brute force on C9. But what happens here is because Meteos knows that the top laners are going to hit level 6 first, so Balls goes under the tower. Quaslake just hit level 6 because Balls was shoving, so he hit level 6 first. So Meteos sees an opportunity to go in here because he's doing this gank because he knows I Will Dominate is not level 6 yet. And if I Will Dominate was level 6, this would turn out so differently because his counter gank would be extremely scary, and obviously he was right there. But what ends up happening is they can drop this equalizer, and then Meteos and Balls just go in on Quas under the tower, and there's not a whole lot I Will Dominate can do at level 5. So they really swing this top lane in their favor just by taking advantage of that small timing window where the top laners are level 6 and the junglers aren't. And this was actually absolutely huge in this game because it kept Curse down just long enough. If Curse had been able to find those plays and make those plays, this could have been really scary for C9. So let's move forward a little more. 2 minutes actually, and I believe this was at Dragon that this happened. Was it? Okay, actually this is just a small little subtlety on the bottom lane. So what you'll notice is both of these bottom lanes, both of these bottom lanes are getting really close to level 6. Oh, and there's also something that's... No, that was a different game. I guess it was just the bottom lane that I wanted to talk about. Was it? Yeah, okay, so just look at the game state a little bit real quick. So obviously I Will Dominate is level 6, so his gank threat is a little scary. But C9 knows that not only is that gank threat there, but also Cop and Zekent are getting very close to level 6, and Sneaky and Lemonation don't want to be shoved up to this tower really far up when Cop and Zekent hit level 6, because then Cop and Zekent, they'll have nothing to retreat to. Cop and Zekent can just drop everything on top of them, and Sneaky and Lemonation don't really have the tools to deal with an Annie all-in at level 6, so they just back up a little bit. Smart play anticipating what was going to happen here, and it ends up working out for them. I think I Will Dominate maybe got a successful gank. I don't remember. No, at least he didn't right now. But that was actually really important because that bot lane, if Curse got ahead, could have really swung the game. So then the last note I actually want to talk about is because C9 they just really keep themselves in this game for the majority of it. I think they do control the dragons pretty effectively, but they make this really decisive move at a certain point, which is really awesome, and it basically secures the game for them. Okay, back up. Okay, there we go. So let's just look at the state of the game right now. Rumble Balls he's got this haunting, guys, and that's actually really important. You can't see it because they're not focusing on it, but he's sitting on quite a bit of gold. And of course C9 do have a bit of a gold lead. It's not huge, and if they get into a team fight, it's still a pretty dangerous situation for them. But C9, they all recall here. They actually did kind of a neat rotation where they rotated up towards the Baron when Curse could see them, so they they kind of stall out Curse. They're like, yeah, come check Baron, we're totally doing it. And then they just recall. So what this does is it kind of stalls out Curse while they go to get their items, and Curse isn't going to go for the Baron. That would just be, they're not in a position to go for Baron right now. So that keeps Curse from, shoving out this mid lane, putting any pressure on the map. But they do these recalls, and this is what I want to talk about. So Balls, he buys Liandry's Torment, and this is, do I have the thing up? Yeah. This is actually huge because based on this recall timing, I would assume that they were just waiting for him to finish his Liandry's Torment for them to make this play at Baron. Because that's really the only significant thing they finish. Draven finishes a Zeal, but that's not really huge. They were all several levels past 11 at this point, so it's not like they were waiting for level 11 to get rank 2 of their ultimates. But actually, this was kind of a cool bluff. Lemonation was here by himself, but Curse has no vision because they've been clearing it out, so Dominate is like, and basically all of Curse is like, well, he could have friends, so I better not go in. And Lemonation is like here all by himself, just like, you know, acting like everything's good, everything's fine. So kind of some clever plays, because Curse, you know, is playing smart here, but they don't have the vision control, which is basically what they've put this gold lead into for this game. So I actually kind of want to watch this play out and show you how it works out for C9. Because C9 at this point, they know that either they can win a team fight, because this Liandry's on Rumble is going to be huge for them, or they know that they can just rush down the Baron, because Liandry's ticking on Baron is going to be, you know, huge as well. So this time they rotate to the Baron, and Curse realizes it, and they're like, oh, we better not go to blue because they're totally doing Baron. And C9 just set up this bait. This is not a Baron attempt, but Curse has no idea. They don't have vision. So C9 is setting up this Baron bait, and they actually end up killing Zekant here. This was, you know, like, it didn't look like there were any obvious opportunities. Curse wasn't that far out of position, but they positioned themselves really well, and especially High here did a really good job of capitalizing on Zekant getting near that pit, you know, because that was kind of risky. He was jumping into Fog of War. It wasn't guaranteed that he would be able to get out, but so then Curse are like, okay, we have to fort something. We do have some pretty strong team fight here, so let's go in. And that's, you know, where obviously what C9 wanted them to do, and a really good equalizer here with the Flay keeps Voyboy and Quas on top of it. And they actually, I think one member of C9 does end up dying here, but it's for 4 kills, and then they just turn around. They don't actually get the Baron. Cop ends up harassing them off of it. But they got 4 kills, and definitely the next time they go for Baron, they're gonna easily be able to take it. So eventually they get the Baron, and that ends up in them kind of securing the game, winning the game here. So let's watch this again, because I love how this played out. So Lemonation just kind of zoning out Voyboy, because, you know, really the only realistic way Voyboy has of getting past Lemonation is to use his Sanguine Pool, which he doesn't want to use yet, just to get past a support. So Voyboy is zoned out. I will dominate. Really amazing kiting from C9. They all spread out. He, I think, only gets Meteos with that ultimate. And they just move backwards. And so they get dominate. Voyboy finally getting in here. He doesn't even get his ultimate on Sneaky, which is probably the target that he needed to get at the most. And I think probably that's what the spectator was zooming in on. And then, of course, this equalizer with the Flay on top, and then the grab too, so they secure the kill on Quas, was just huge. And so that team fight basically ended up deciding the game ultimately. Curse never came back from that, and they C9 ended up winning. So really well played by C9. You have to give them a lot of credit there. So basically, you know, some really important things there. Curse had this level 6 power spiking team composition, but like we saw, Curse never got any opportunities to use it. You know, they fell so far behind, and they just weren't able to do much with it, because C9 pushed their advantages where they had them, and took advantage of these little timing windows where they were strong. And of course, the back, as soon as High got that Liandry's, was really important, because, you know, if they wait for too long, eventually Curse will go back. They'll start to maybe equalize in items, especially if C9 are staying out for too long. So even if, you know, C9's gold total is higher, Curse might have better items because they've gone back to base. So C9 went back, bought their items, immediately started that Baron. And like you'll notice, before that fight, Sneaky bought his Zeal. and like Kopp does not even have a Zeal yet. So there are these little advantages, basically the Zeal and then the finished Liandry's that gave C9 the edge in that fight. And of course, how they played the fight was beautiful as well, and that secured their victory. So let's